Well, hey, my lovely friends, it's Ashley here from Lovely Commotion. Today I want to talk all about what is modeled writing in preschool and how can we use it to support our young learners. So let's get started. I want to show you some examples of how I use modeled writing, what modeled writing is, and also kind of the difference between modeled writing and shared writing. So modeled writing is basically just showing children what writing looks like. So you're writing, they're observing, you're thinking aloud and talking, and you're writing, but they are watching, right? Not to be confused with shared writing. That's when you're actually sharing the pen with, or the pencil or the crayon or whatever, with the children. And so they're writing some either letters, words, maybe pictures, things like that on the chart too. That one is called shared writing. But I wanted to first start with modeled writing, kind of show you what that looks like. So there are so many amazing reading and writing concepts that can be taught during modeled writing. So as the teacher or the adult, you're basically the model, right? And by example, we kind of are showing why we write, what we write, and how we write. And then we can later go back and read what we wrote. At least I can, and sometimes they can too, depending on the type of writing you're doing. So I like to include these in my lessons as much as possible. Anytime I can kind of take a book or a discussion or even like an unexpected event and turn it into a shared writing experience, or not a shared writing experience, a modeled writing experience, I do. And we do shared writing experiences too. But today is all about modeled writing. So first, I want to show you one that we just did this year recently because there was a hawk outside our window. It was really cool to see. He was super close. We turned off the lights, we were really quiet, and we got this look at this awesome hawk. And he just had these amazing feathers on his legs, and this led to so many questions. What is he doing? Why is he gathering food? Does he have a nest? She, what, what do they eat? Why is she doing that? So many different questions. And so I decided to take this opportunity that they were already interested in, and we made a hawk's writing. Now, this is a little bit of shared writing because they are adding some pictures in for me, but they weren't actually doing any of the letters yet, right? Any of the letters, any of the words, we just aren't quite there yet, but they are helping me with some of the pictures. So I kind of cut it off, but it says hawks at the top, and they wanted to know what they ate. So we researched what they ate and we wrote those down. I wrote with them. I was saying they eat. I said, I'm going to underline this because now I'm going to make a list. I'm going to list all the things they eat. And I was like, I'm also going to draw a fork and a spoon because that's what we use when we eat. So that'll help you know this is the word eat. So I'm just talking through all of it. And so then I'm like, first thing, frogs. I'm going to write down frogs. Then on the next line, I'm going to list a different animal, rabbits. And so I'm making a list. And then on the side, they also wanted to know, I'm asking them, what do you want to know? I want to know about their babies. Do they have a nest? Are they going to have babies soon? Well, we learned that hawks lay 1 to 5 eggs in the spring. And so I basically walked through that. Hawks lay 1 to 5 eggs in the spring. I said, I'm going to put this dot at the end to say I'm done with my words right here, with my sentence. So I just start infusing some of these things, right? I'm not expecting them to know what a sentence is. I'm not expecting them to know what a period is. I'm not expecting them to know what a list is, but I'm just starting to introduce all of these types of vocabulary because as we know, it takes a lot of exposure for them to pick up on some of these words, especially these new words that they maybe have not come in contact with before. So we moved on and kept doing that. And then at the very end in the brown, you can see we named our mini hawk. Her name is Minnie, like Minnie Mouse Hawk. And we also talked about how they search for food up above and they go high in trees. And we talked about how pictures can match words to help us tell the story and help us communicate what we want about this, and how we stayed only on hawks because this was just about hawks. We didn't move into other type of birds, like so many things that can be modeled just by creating a really cool modeled writing piece. And we also recently, that just side note, it wasn't modeled writing at, well, yes, it was. We saw was he a grasshopper? Oh no, it was a cricket. It was a cricket. He was in the school and they just were besides themselves. Like, what are we going to do? What's he going to do? I'm like, why do you think he's here? And so we start talking about that. Why do you think the cricket's here? And so we actually made a whole book where I guided them and they gave me the words and I wrote that, and that's sitting in our library too. So just using those unexpected events that they are like automatically just drawn to and want to know more, use them to create some great writing pieces. Another one we did was we were getting ready to go look at clouds last spring, and we had read The Little Cloud, and we wanted to see the different clouds that were outside. So before we went, I made them a chart, obviously modeled it for them, and wrote down, oh, stratus, that starts, does anybody know what that starts with? S. And so I said, I'm going to label each of these clouds. This cloud is a nimbus. I'm going to put the word next to it to show that that is its label. Talking about labeling, right? And this is what we're going to use. We're going to use this when we go outside to see if we can figure out what kind of clouds we're looking at. And so, again, something they're going to use, something they watched me do, and I am inserting those ideas of lists and what letter does this sound like, and we can use this as a reference, right? So many great things we can talk about. We also, during our social emotional lessons, we made a chart about friends. We are friends. What does a good friend do? So we talked about this being a list, and I'm asking them, what do good friends do? They hug you. Put that down, right? And then I talk about, this is a bullet. It's just a dot. It just tells me that I'm making a list and I can go on down with my bullets. And so I tell them that, right? And then I make another one. And then they'll tell me, oh, you got to make a bullet. What color should I make this one, right? We can just, so super simple. I'm modeling all of these great literacy writing concepts, and it's incorporated into what we're already talking about. The last one I have to share with you is one we do every year. It's Gingerbread 5 Senses, and it's super fun because we take our real gingerbread cookies and we use our 5 senses to explore them. So before we eat them, we are going to look at them, smell them, feel them, hear them, and then I take what they say and I put it in the chart. Oh, you're talking about how it smells. I'm going to go over here to the smell with the nose, and I'm going to list that here. And then, so we're already kind of getting this idea of organizing, right? Organizing by category. Ooh, it feels how. And then when we're all finished with it, we go through it and talk about, these are the words you used. These are describing words. You're describing how this gingerbread cookie tastes, touch, feel, all of it, right? They're using adjectives, right? But they don't know it. And so I'm making the bullets. We're making a list. I'm just listing the words. And then we have this later to talk about, hey, do you remember that time that we smelled those gingerbread men? That's what this Play-Doh smells like, right? Come back to it. So many great ways you can use modeled writing, and you can just plug it into stuff that you're already doing. We were already going to do a use your 5 senses on a gingerbread cookie. We were already going to go look at clouds, right? So how can I just add that little piece in and just talk through it? If you just think to yourself, what am I thinking in my brain? Why am I putting this on the paper? Tell them. Be very explicit. They don't have to understand it, but that you want them to start hearing those words and maybe start understanding some of those concepts. You'd be super surprised on what they can pick up on and what they later will say, hey, we made one of those in that chart we made, right? We made one of those bullet things. They might see it in a book later. Just so many great things. So that is modeled writing. Those are just a couple of examples of how you could do modeled writing. Modeled writing is really great for the beginning of the year because you're doing all of the modeling for them. It's also great for when you're maybe introducing a new type of writing, maybe a poem, right? Or maybe a repeated text, like I see a red mitten, I see a blue mitten, and they can come up and color the mitten. But so many wonderful things that you can do. But I'm also going to come back another week and talk about shared writing and how you can incorporate that into your classroom as well. So if you have any ideas for modeled writing, things that you do in the classroom, certain activities that you absolutely love, please drop us a comment. We love sharing, and I will talk to y'all next week. Bye-bye.